And Herbster, how you doing?
Good, Rhonda. How are you?
I am great, and I'm excited about our conversation today. Come on in and say, hey, we are getting ready to go live. Actually, we are live. All
Okay.
this technology, Ann.
Yeah, it's a little confusing, doesn't it?
It does. I have my days. So, hey there. Come on in. Rhonda Boyle here with Ann Herbster. And we are excited to bring to you today our Launch and Grow Quick Tips. So, we've got some more details for them today, Ann.
Yeah, we are. And as you know, everyone, we're the authors of the Coach Business Guide, the path to launch and grow your coaching practice. So
Yes.
glad you could join.
And we're going to spend some time today talking about contracts and terms of service. And let me figure out how to turn this music off. Okay, here we go. All right. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about contracts and terms of service, your terms of services that you're going to offer and how to present that information to your clientele.
Right. And coaches, we've seen this on various sites, people asking about this. So that's why we put this together, because coaches do need to have a document that provides details around what they're providing, be it a group coaching package or a workshop or a training program, whatever it is. You want to have some sort of contract or coaching agreement that includes your terms of service. And terms of service, or TOS, as you might see, contain relevant information. It's going to set the expectations between you and your client regarding what you're going to do for them and what you're providing. So by laying out these terms of services in your contract, you're going to provide clarity and set some expectations. So Rhonda, what's some basic information? Let's get started. What are some basic things that we want them to think about?
Well, first of all, I want to say when you mentioned the term terms of service, immediately popping into my head is that little box that we have to click that nobody reads. Right? Are you guilty of not reading that?
Absolutely.
And you know why we don't read it? Because they're so complicated and they use jargon that's very that feels intimidating. And so the first thing that we want to advise you to do is to keep it simple. Make sure you use simple language so that your ideal client does not feel intimidated. And you want to keep it brief too, and keep it limited rather to only the relevant sections that are important to you and your client. So cut out anything that's extra. And you really want to set the stage by explaining that it's for their protection and your protection. It protects you by providing a definition or a purpose statement right up there at the top. And that way they know why you're entering into a coaching agreement or contract.
Yeah, and having a description or information about what this covers. So for example, do you have a coaching package, and how many weeks is it? What's the name of it? And what's entailed? Are you having an event? Are you bringing people in for a workshop? Are you going to a client's place for training? What kind of access they're going to have to you? What kind of materials are going to be included? Are there specific tests and results? Are there books? Are there other things? It doesn't have to have everything, but it does have to have things, especially if you have copyrighted materials. So it lays out that they can't, they're not allowed to share the information or to duplicate that information. So, and post any engagement opportunities that could entail that you may be providing. I think the other part of this is it's not a one-way street. So what is the client expected to do? And I would have a section called client expectations. What are they expected to do? And then there's what is the coach? What are you going to do? And then finally, I would list what's not included. And I think this is important because some people go in, and if you're during your session, somebody says, well, I see that you're a strengths coach, or I see that you're an XYZ certified. Can you provide this testing, or can you provide these materials? So you want to make sure you can say, yes, I can, but that's going to be extra because that's not normally included in my package. So, events, if you're having events, what are you not responsible for? You may not be responsible for food or Wi-Fi access or things like that. So being clear around what's not included is really protecting you. And also it protects you not just because you're telling them what they're not getting, but it protects you if they come back to you later and want more. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, you need to kind of have that.
Yeah.
So another area that's you really need to consider is your payment policy. Are you going to offer split payments? Are you allowing them, like if you're doing, perhaps you have a coaching package that lasts 6 weeks. Are you letting them pay by the week, or do they pay it all up front? What exactly is your policy? Maybe you delay payments. Or what happens if somebody's payment is rejected? Because guess what happens? Sometimes you're going to get charged for that. So you need to pass that back. If they're like, oh no, I don't know what happened. It doesn't change the fact that you're going to get a fee. And are you going to charge that back? Right. So really
that's really important.
That. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then whatever payment service you're using, will you charge a fee for that? Because sometimes what coaches will do with their programs is they'll offer two options. They'll say, pay it this much up front and you'll get a discount, or you can pay it by payments and you pay this amount. And so they charge more for that. And you just want to be clear and make sure that that's included in your agreement.
But Rhonda, can I interject? I really think that collecting the bulk of the money up front is going to not just protect you from somebody who's not going to pay, but it also helps the client provide a commitment.
Sure.
That they're obviously interested in doing this. So just some words of caution that you might want to try and collect, if not all of it, up front.
Sure. Absolutely. That's the best policy. I think that oftentimes as coaches, it runs the gamut, and people are constantly asking for, and can we, and I want to, but, and so we always want to try to accommodate people. Just be clear up front how you're going to do that. That's what's important about this. Now, here's another one you've got to consider. How are you going to handle cancellations and rescheduling? 3 strikes, you're out, or, like what exactly is your cancellation period without them being charged a fee? If you think about going to the doctor, if you cancel your doctor or dentist the day of, or you don't give 24 hours notice, guess what happens? You get charged anyway. They say it very clearly. Again, your dentist has terms of service and you need them too. So figure out if they're going to be penalized, or what about a no-show? What if they just don't show up and you don't hear from them? You need to have that listed too.
Yeah. And I think what's a good follow-on is what's your refund policy? So what if they completely drop out after 5 of 6 sessions and they ask for a full refund? I think you have to be really clear up front. And this is part of that setting expectations, that if they drop out, what's going to be your prorated or no refund? Right. Some people don't provide any refund. They say, this is your commitment. You're making this commitment. There can be emergencies, and how are you going to handle that? Maybe you say, all right, I know you can't finish this until for 2 months. Let's wait. We'll come back in 2 months and do it. You may want to do that. You're going to have to play it by ear and decide what you're going to do. But if they quit completely, how are you going to handle that? And you've got to be able to set them in specific language so that they know exactly what to expect if they do decide to cancel this.
Right.
And what if they don't pay? What if you have a 50% down and 50% at the end, which we caution against, but you may decide to do that. What happens if they don't pay? How do you go after them? Do you pay somebody to go after them? What is your policy? So, you have to have a collections policy, but hopefully you can find a way to charge everything up front, or don't do the next session until they pay the next amount of payment to protect yourself. This is about protecting you, but also setting expectations.
Sure. Exactly. I so agree. Now, how do you get started? Somebody asked a great question in the
Yeah.
chat box. Is there a terms of service? Are there templates, especially to protect your IP? Yes, there are. And I would encourage you to go and do a search, just search contracts and the name of what you're trying to,
Yeah.
or what exactly, contracts, intellectual property, or contracts, uh, whatever you're looking for specifically to add, and you'll find them. They're all over, Rocket Lawyer.
Law
Not that we would
Depot.
recommend Legal Shield. There's
Shield.
lots of different companies that have, if you're a member, they provide those free, and then others, they provide it for a small fee. So take a look at some of those if you need them. You do need to run whatever it is by an attorney. It just is smart business to do that. So that's what, to get started, we would suggest that you make a list of everything that you want to include or not include, as Ann mentioned earlier, and then start to, look at the template and start to plug in where you see it might fit. And, another idea for you is to research what other coaches are doing. What kind of agreements do they have? Maybe there's lots of sharing done within the coaching community, and another option would be to reach out to your mentor.
Absolutely.
But you
So there
need
are a lot of
one. You need
resources.
something.
There's a lot of resources out there, some free and some definitely paid, that can get you started. Rhonda, if you do work with a lawyer, they have a tendency, and I've seen this in some of the work you and I've done, to put incredible amount of language in there, which does scare people off. So make sure you explain to them what you want, a very simple contract that protects both of you.
Right. With easy language.
Yeah. So we hope this information has been helpful in thinking through what items to include in your contract in terms of services. Remember, keep it simple and brief, because you don't want to avoid your clients. You don't want to scare them off and lose them because of asking them to do this. You may find, I've seen this, some corporations, let's say you're doing training or workshops with organizations, they might have their own contract that they want you to sign. That can be good, but if this is the case, protect yourself. Make sure to review it and make sure that your items are in there. So it's not one-sided, just the organization, what they want. It's what you expect, what you're going to give. Don't just sign it away without making sure that the details are there for both of you. That is so important. And don't get pressured to sign something that works against you. Have a lawyer review it if necessary. As we've said before, have a lawyer. They can help you out of some of your perhaps some tough situations.
Yeah. And you can have attorneys that will help you if, there are membership services available for a very modest fee. In fact, Ann and I have one for our business. So you definitely need to have some type of legal options. So, look around and search for those, and, to kind of help you through that. So anyway, we hope this has been helpful. Check back at our Facebook group, which is it's Coach Business Guide, for more quick tips. And don't forget to check out our website at coachbusinessguide.com.
Right.
Because we have blog posts and other things that'll help you. Videos are on our YouTube channel, so you can find us across all social media, and hopefully get more answers if you have questions. And so we're grateful that you would come and join us today. Thanks.
Awesome.
Thanks. All right. We'll see you guys later. Appreciate you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye. Well, if I can get all my little buttons here, Ann, I'll close us down. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you later.
Bye.